Action.
Yeah, good afternoon. You are welcome to Soludo TV live. We are here at Government House, Oka, Anambra State, and the weather is a very interesting one and a very fine weather. And with me here today is one of the strongest stakeholders in Obiano government. He has been a very formidable force in APGA. He has been in the party leadership before. Sir, please, can you introduce yourself to our viewers and audience?
My name remains Ifeatu Obiokoye. I'm the special advisor to the governor on political matters. Like you said, prior to now, I've been the National Publicity Secretary of APGA.
Okay.
And in the past, I've been the state chairman of PDP when I was in PDP.
All right.
Before then, in my early days, I was a member of the State Assembly in the Second Republic on the platform of MPP. When I say that, people begin
Six party. Wow, yeah, it's Zikist.
People begin to say, I was 25 years when I contested and won election in 1983 to represent them being out on the platform of MPP.
Wow, that's incredible.
It's been a journey, and we remain focused on the journey.
All right, sir, you have actually said a lot about what you've done in political parties and what you've done for your people and how deep you are rooted in politics. You seem to know much about the present situation in APGA, and I believe that you have a lot to offer because it seems a lot of our members of APGA and members of the public voters are having a kind of confusion as in what is going on. So, in regard to that, would you have something to say concerning the INEC purported letter that was received? I think it was yesterday.
Yesterday.
Yes. So, can you say something
That
about that?
letter was dated 18. Luckily, apart from my strong political background, I'm also a lawyer by profession. I was called to bar in 1980, and that makes me a legal practitioner for over 40 years now.
Wow, what
And
a long experience.
yes, I believe that beyond politics and political, when it comes to discerning and speaking the law as it is,
Yeah.
some of us should come out and really speak out. When I saw the letter written by INEC, my first reaction was that this must be a fake letter. So I made calls and I found that actually it came from INEC.
Okay.
That became serious for me because I read the letter and it was clear to me that INEC was not speaking the law.
All right.
It's important that we clear this issue. If it is a matter that has not been decided by the courts, he will have allowed room for all sorts of conjecture.
All right.
But this matter has gone before the courts, has come before the Supreme Court, the highest court. And the Supreme Court has made a clear interpretation on the provisions of Section 85 and 87 of the Electoral Act 2010 as amended. 85 of the Electoral Act deals with the right of INEC to monitor congresses.
Okay.
And so on. And 86 flowing to 86.4 deals with the penalty when you fail to give notice of the Congress to INEC.
All right.
And 87 deals with the nomination proper. So,
the
primary election.
Okay.
Now, the Supreme Court has interpreted it. What came into focus as the central issue for determination in the case of Yari and what's that his name? The Supreme Court interpreted the provisions of Shinkafi, in the case of Shinkafi. Okay. That case was decided on the 25th of January 2016. Okay. And it is reported in various law reports. Okay. The Supreme Court had occasion to interpret the provisions of sections 85 and 87 and came out with a clear distinction between nomination and qualification and disqualification.
All right.
And they clearly said, one, that under 85, assuming you did not give notice to INEC, that the penalty for not giving notice to INEC is founded in 86.4. And the penalty is 500,000 naira, that there's nothing like disqualification from contesting the election.
All right.
So, and they now go over to 87 and say, it remains the primary responsibility of the party to conduct primary, that it remains a domestic affair
of
the party, subject of course to the provisions of 87.9, which provides for where somebody who has participated feels that he is a person who ought to have been declared the winner, and the party is trying to field a different person, you have a right to go to court to challenge the result. Other than that, no other person outside the system, a person who was not a contestant in the primaries, cannot even challenge the result of the primaries.
Okay.
And the grounds upon which you can only challenge the result of the primaries is mainly that you ought to have been declared the winner. Okay. Or that you won the election, that the party is trying to field a different candidate from you. Okay. That is the only ground. Other than that, the issues are quite germane. The issues have been decided. So Shinkafi against Yare is not even the only case. There are a plethora of decisions of the Supreme Court. So going by that, I, as a very senior member of the bar, I'm totally embarrassed that the position of INEC on the same issue. Okay. INEC is talking about the ad hoc delegates. And they are giving the impression that we as a party did not give them notice of our Congress. The first issue we must clear is whether we gave them notice. Yes, we gave them notice of the Congress, which is coming up tomorrow. That is what we are required by law to give them. The nitty-gritties, the details that flow to the Congress start with, they don't even remember that the nitty-gritties that flow to the Congress are one, that you must be a member of the party. So, INEC can as well also quarrel with the fact that we did not bring a register of all our members for them to verify, to be sure that those who participated in the IHOG are really APGA members. So if they want to be technically funny, they should stretch it to what it means. But all that are the nitty-gritties which form the process towards what we are doing tomorrow. The duty of INEC under the law is really to come
and monitor
the process. Right. They do not conduct the primaries for us. The conduct of the primaries remains within the domain and rights of the party to do so. All right. And the law is very clear. Shinkafi Yari said, if you claim that notice was not given, under section 85(2), INEC has powers to visit, even when you are invited or not. So, it is not enough to hang on the technicality that you were not given a notice. Then Shinkafi and Yari also decide that even if it is true what they are saying, what is the penalty? Is it disqualification?
Or to pay the fine.
Or to pay the fine. So, when we get to that bridge, we'll cross it. But I want to assure every member of the party that the law is clear. The law is not ambiguous. The law has been interpreted in several cases. Shinkafi and Yari being the leading decision on the matter. There are, at least in my library, there are about 5 other cases that from the Supreme Court, not from any ordinary court, concerning the decision of the Supreme Court in Shinkafi and Yari. So nobody should panic about the situation. But before then, I think something else came up. A group of faceless politicians suddenly came up and said they have sacked the national chairman. And also removed some members of the party. You will notice in these days you have unknown gunmen. We have also started seeing unknown politicians masquerading in the same style and manner of unknown gunmen. And you notice that the group claimed they had sacked 6 people, which did not include the National Publicity Secretary.
Which means the office is still intact.
The office of the National Publicity Secretary is still intact. But the man who spoke for the group claimed to be the National Publicity Secretary. So it's a clear case of impersonation. That was why I called it a coup similar to that of Gideon Oka, who jumped into the radio station and started removing parts of Nigeria to it. But seriously speaking, in 2017, we had a similar situation, more serious situation, because in 2017, it involved 6 members of the National Working Committee who were known to us. And the 6 of them moved away to fight the party. This matter went to court, and a decision was given by the Court of Appeal. You know, when a Court of Appeal has given a decision, just like the Supreme Court, it becomes more serious than mere High Court decision, which can come up from your village. If you have High Court in your village, a judgment can come up from there any time. But when a decision comes from the Court of Appeal or to the Supreme Court, then every member should be serious about that. In 2017, the Court of Appeal said clearly that the national chairman of APGA can only be removed by the National Convention in accordance with our Constitution, Section 23 and Section 12(1)(b). Incidentally, I was in that case. I was one of the counsel in that case, so I remember that case clearly. I did it at the High Court, won clearly at the High Court before we moved over to the Court of Appeal. What I'm saying today is that that decision of the Court of Appeal is still binding on every member of APGA. So, whether you are faceless or known, no member of APGA can remove the national chairman or national officers except there's a convention properly constituted of the party. Secondly, that case also decided that nobody can exercise the functions and duties of the national chairman except when such has been delegated by the national chairman himself,
Okay.
in accordance with Article 13 of our party constitution. So let every other person, every member of the party who feels concerned about the prospects of the party understand that nothing has happened to the national leadership of our party. Secondly, like we said before, nothing. INEC does not have the legal capacity nor the constitutional capacity to stop APGA from being in the ballot. INEC in that letter was playing the ostrich. INEC was behaving like the petitioner himself. We can field our candidates. If our candidates have any legal impediments, the law is that INEC cannot disqualify us.
Okay.
It is for the opposition who we are contesting the election with
To come up with.
to file an application in the appropriate court contesting our prerogative to be in that election.
Okay.
The duty of INEC is simply to conduct the election amongst those who have fielded their candidates. So, but we know it's a season where many things happen. We are not new to all this gerrymandering, so it will still come to pass. But let our people not bother. It's a season of gain, and I can see a lot of gain playing out.
Yes. Okay, sir. When you dropped that note, that set down yesterday, I think it was shared across social media, and I read a particular question that I'm concerned. Somebody was asking, like, what was the judgment on the case of Chinkafi versus Yari, which you have quoted here? What was the actual judgment? Because some are the statements that are part of the judgment. So what is the actually conclusive judgment?
Okay.
Yes.
You know, let me say clearly that, first of all, we as lawyers, we think differently.
Okay.
From the layman.
Explain to us the layman's language.
The layman, first of all, wants to know the result of the judgment.
Yes.
Before we go to the result of the judgment, I want us to understand many things.
Okay.
In a judgment at the Court of Appeal and at the Supreme Court, at appellate level, if you're knowledgeable, the first thing you go to look at, what were the issues?
Okay.
What were the issues? That's what we call the ratio decidendi, the reason for the decision. That is what you look at first. It is not a question of the end result. Now, in this case, there were two central issues in Shinkafi's case.
All right.
And one of it was the question of interpretation of the provisions of Section 85 to 87.
Where INEC quoted.
When INEC quoted, yes. So, if that person is flowing with what is happening, what it should be more concerned is about what the Supreme Court said concerning
this particular
issue, not the judgment of the court concerning Shinkafi. Yes, because the judgment has nothing to do with the issue we are canvassing. That case was determined on the basis that the party properly fielded the candidates and that INEC had no right to query the candidate of the party, particularly after INEC had monitored and observed the primaries. There were other grounds. The other issue, which was also canvassed, was whether he won with a majority of votes. That's why I say you have to look at the issues and now look at the end result. In this case, what concerns us in Shinkafi's case was the interpretation made by the Supreme Court concerning the provisions of sections 85, 86, and 87, which is still the law. That is the law. And that is the law INEC must apply.
All right. Sir, as we know that the Supreme Court judgment is a binding precedent on every other court, because it's just like a law on its own when it's pronounced.
That is true.
So what I'm saying here is that this case has already been established, and a future case of that nature will still go the same way the first one has gone, as in the same judgment, the same conclusion. He said, in fact, it will be inferred, a kind of, the lawyers will quote this particular case to argue their case. Now, INEC is, I don't know, do you see it as INEC is trying to be mischievous, or that some people are sponsoring this whole drama? I want to...
You know, INEC is an agency of the federal government, an institution which has lots of credible officers working there, some at the very high level and some at the very low level. I don't think it is to make a wide characterization will not really be fair to them.
Okay.
I believe the letter was improperly written,
Okay.
and the letter does not represent the state of the law. The letter was not done in the best interest of the reputation of INEC. Let us leave it like that. Let us not impugn anything more than that on INEC. And we hope that at the appropriate time they will have reason to comply with the law. Maybe somebody misguided them.
All right, that's a very interesting one. So I'm a kind of concerned because I read the public, I work with the public, seeing comments and postulations and confusions and a lot of things going on, in the minds of people. Some say it out, some keep thinking, I know how many messages I've received and calls, So what I'm saying is that, what can we say about this? Because I believe that INEC has a legal advisor, which means anything that will go out of INEC must have received the approval of the legal advisor. It will be within the law. So
listen, I'm not concerned about what they have.
Okay.
I said, as a very senior member of the bar, I look at the letter and I can say clearly, that this letter does not represent the position of the law.
Okay.
I don't care who is working for them. I don't care who INEC chairman is or who INEC secretary is. But I speak as a lawyer who has been 40 years at the bar, that this letter offends the provisions of the law. And that's what we should concern ourselves with.
Okay.
Not what the legal advisor may or may not have. That will be speculation. We don't know who saw the letter without. You will see how this drama, like I said, from my experience in politics, you see how the drama will play out. It always comes up when there's an election. Let us all understand that APGA represents the final political platform for the Igbo race.
Okay.
So each time there's an election, there are forces outside this place who are fighting from different angles with seen and unseen hands to destroy what we have. It is not a game of who to win the governorship of Anambra State. It is a game to destroy the only platform, political platform that the Igbos have. And that is why we keep resisting it within the ambits of the law, within the mustering every political clout that we can. Let every Igbo man understand that the battle against APGA is the continuous battle against the political projection of the Igbo man in the Nigerian political map.
All right, sir. You are an astute politician, one with credit, and one that have been there from young till you're getting old now. They used to sing it now, before I was young, and now I'm getting old. I think the other ones go.
Yes.
Things are not, it's still the same thing. So what I'm trying to get from you is, what do you have to say to? We know that we have 9 aspirants from APGA that seek to contest the primaries, and there was a kind of screening, and 5 were taken out, remaining 4.
Yes.
I want you to talk to the remaining 5 that have been screened out. Being an elder statesman, you've been there, you've done that, you've seen things, you have been involved in politicking and quite a lot of things that surround the state. So I want you to talk to them as elder.
Thank you for that. For those of us who have been around in politics, we've seen it all. In, I think it was 1982, during the Babangida, not 92, during the Babangida era. You know, those days where you used to have a date for election, then suddenly the election is cancelled and so on. And people are disqualified today, people are qualified the next day. I've been disqualified from contesting the local government election the night before the election for known reasons. And there was the threat that our party would have completely, the SDP, would have completely lost the seats because of my absence in the ballot. We all worked for the party in the interest of the party and made sure that the party won 16 out of the 20 council seats that we were supposed to. We saw in 2013 when somebody like Professor Soludo tried to contest, and for purely political reasons, when the party said this matter is zoned to north and you are coming from south, and he was disqualified. And one remarkable thing was that out of about 5 of them who were disqualified, he was the only one that remained and helped the party to go on and win the election. There's always a tomorrow for every politician. I commend Chief Ifeatu Obiokoye. I understand he made a statement on Monday and asked all his supporters to support the ongoing process. He was one of those that were disqualified. And I believe that all those who were disqualified to really take a cue from there. So what is interesting is that virtually all of them have benefited from the party, one way or the other. 2 of them are in the House of Rep on the platform of the party. 2 of them are in the House of Assembly on the platform of the party. And it is the prerogative of the party to sponsor any candidate. The question of who the party sponsors is a political question and is not justiciable anywhere. Even when you look at the report of the screening committee. A screening committee, endorsed a lot of literature writing. Otherwise, those days, all the party would say, he's not a fit and proper person to carry a flag. It's a political decision. And that is the end of the matter.
No longer explanation.
No longer explanation. He's not a fit and proper person to carry the flag of our party.
No matter who he is.
No matter who he is. Because in 2013, coming from Central Bank, we told Soludo, no, you are out because of zoning. So, it can affect anybody. There were many of them. There was, what's his name? The man from Omundi, Osisioma, big industrialist.
Yes.
There was also Commissioner Chinedu Idigo.
Yeah.
There was also Baze. I don't know. I don't want to compare anybody. But we are all from Anambra. We know the quality
of those people,
that were disqualified then.
Yeah.
And we also know who was disqualified today. On a comparative basis, I don't see why people should not reckon on history and say that there is always a tomorrow. More so for those who have benefited one way or the other from the party. Look at Akachu Wampo, who has not benefited from our party as it were. He's not a member of the House. He has not been a commissioner. He has not been a member of the National Assembly. But he has looked at the whole situation and said, I am APGA for life. And I believe in this party. He has taken the same decision that Professor Soludo took some years ago and continued and remained steadfast with the party. That is why today the party says, more than every other thing, more than the question of your qualities, your professional and academic qualities. The party reckons with you for one thing, that at the appropriate time, we asked you to step down, and you step down. That is the first hallmark of a good party man. Any person who is obedient to the supremacy of the party will always gain from the party. If you don't gain today, you will gain tomorrow. Let's not forget that even after 2013, there was an attempt in 2017 by very powerful people in Anambra State to field Professor Soludo. But you now looked at it and said, Governor Obiano has not done badly. If it's not broken,
why not? Why mend it?
Why do you try to mend it? So, he must reap from his political investment. It is not hidden the fact. I speak now as the special advisor to His Excellency, the Governor of Anambra. Tomorrow is the Congress, and I speak to all the delegates that the decision of the government of Anambra State is that we will wish to hand over this process to Professor Soludo. And that is the candidate we are hoping that all the delegates will vote for tomorrow. We do so because we said we have looked at him as having the capacity and enablement to sustain the gains that His Excellency Governor Willie Obiano has attained for us. We do so because we know that he has the reach, we know that he has the contacts to sustain the economy of this state. These days, it is no more fun to be the governor of a state. This is not the time. There's no money in the country. There's no money in the world. There's meltdown based on the price of crude. So we need a governor who has the economic reach, who has the experience, who has the contacts internally and internationally in order to sustain and move Anambra to greater heights.
All right, sir. Thank you for what you've said already. I still want to know. I'm thinking about, because we have a very strong information that some of the people, the contestants, the aspirants, disqualified, are still campaigning. And it's surprising that even some political appointees, because you are advisor to the governor on political matters.
That's right.
And some political appointees in the government are still campaigning for them, even when it is glaring that they have been disqualified. And the result of disqualification have been published.
No,
So is there any other...
It was published today.
Is there any other hope that they may be reinstated by tomorrow or tonight?
No. It doesn't work that way. Let me take it that all those that have been campaigning for him were campaigning hoping that their appeal will succeed, yes.
Okay.
But the appeal haven't failed. I believe that all of them will come in line appeal to where they go. In any case, I was speaking to delegates tomorrow because all those who are dancing around Aroma and elsewhere are not delegates. So I'm speaking to the delegates who will be voting tomorrow to understand the direction the government is going. And the governor remains the national leader of our party. And the chairman BOT. That is a special honor. He is not just the governor of Anambra State. He remains the national leader of our great party and the chairman BOT. So when he speaks for our party, he speaks in three capacities. One as governor, two as national leader, three as chairman BOT. And we must listen to him because we need his leverage to go for this election.
Okay. All right, sir. But what you said, some people are still studying the body language of the governor. Some believe that governor have not come out to make a press declaration that this is why I stand in his back and everybody should queue behind him. I don't know. Are you saying that
on
the governor...
Saturday, just last Saturday, there were all members of the state working committee of APGA were at the governor's lodge after the visit to the airport. Some other visitors were there. Akachu Wampo was there. My friend Igiliginewi, Demian Okolo was also there. There were many people. There were over 150 people there, and His Excellency said it clearly that my candidate is Professor C.C. Soludo. He said it in the presence of all these people, and they heard him clearly because that is not even the first time. So for those who have been waiting and studying the so-called body language, and let them stop saying the governor's political spokesman, by virtue of my office, I'm the political manager of this regime.
Thank you.
And a very serious-minded one, for that matter. I am saying to the delegates that His Excellency will prefer and will vote because he's a voter. That's what they forget. He's going to vote. And His Excellency will be voting for Professor C.C. Soludo. And we expect that every other delegate will queue behind His Excellency tomorrow.
All right, sir. The last one. Is there any, because after a contest of this matter, though the real contest is tomorrow.
Yes.
But I believe some have been screened, which you have stated here, and some might be aggrieved, and some might equally be aggrieved after tomorrow's contest. Some may be aggrieved because of the margin at which they lose.
Yes.
And some may be even expecting their people to vote them, and when they have no votes, they say this is really bad, and they'll be hot. You understand? Is there any plan to establish something like a reconciliation committee to ensure that?
Yes. Okay. We've done it before. We did it after the last primaries. What you always know, a good party man is a good party man. Domestically, when you see a wife who has been planning how to run out of husband's home, just one slap. She has packed her things and she has reached her father's house. because long before she has been planning to leave a matrimonial home. For the wife who still loves the family, there is always prospect in reconciliation. The same thing happens in politics. If you see those who are good party men, no matter how hot they may have been, no matter how disappointed they may be, they are always open to reconciliation. And just like you asked, I am aware that a machinery is already being put in place in order to reach out to them for purposes of this election. You see, because I know about elections, I've run election in the Second Republic under MPP against MPF. I've run election in the Third Republic on the platform of SDP. Now we are talking about the Fourth Republic. We are talking about PDP, APGA, and so I understand that it takes much more than your fine boy to win election. It takes a whole lot of things to win the election. It takes a whole lot of things that you don't even see. And the process is very costly, and the process is very engaging, security-wise, technically-wise. So I will always plead with every person who has an ambition, not because you're not that qualified. Qualification is a different thing, but capacity is also a completely different thing. And finally, no matter what your ambition may be, always remember that the law gives the party the prerogative to decide who will be their candidate.
All right, thank you for this time given us to come and discuss with you on this pertinent issue. And I believe our audience are very appreciative of the knowledge you have given out to the people.
Thank you.
And once again, our viewers, you are onto Soludo TV, and you can join our WhatsApp, our Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter as Soludo TV. Or you log into our website at www.soludo.tv. Thank you and have a nice day.